Everyone, I'm sorry that I can't be there in person, but Ovidio invited me to write a series of articles on leadership for his magazine, and then suggested that I would speak to you today about leadership, the challenge of leadership, and to give you a perspective on how we at Neverfail, software company that specializes in business continuity solutions, are tackling some of the challenges. So over the next few minutes, I'm going to talk a little bit about leadership, and then I'd be delighted to take any questions at the end, or I'm in Cluj very frequently, so I'd be delighted to talk to any of you if you have any questions afterwards. The question that we all ask ourselves as we develop our career is, do we want to lead? And most of us, young, fresh-faced leaders, we get incredibly excited about the opportunity to lead a team or lead an organization or lead a business. And so we tackle the challenges with enthusiasm. But the real question is, are you sure? Because those challenges start to become significant. First of all, if you're the chief executive of any organization, you have a board of directors that is particularly demanding in terms of performance and in terms of what you're going to deliver. Then you have employees who have nothing but high expectations of their leader, high demands, and who want you to prove yourself as being worthy of leading the organization. You then have shareholders who demand return on their investment. And then finally, there's never enough time. So the consequence of leading means that you can move from being this fresh-faced young man through to someone who really can't handle the pressure. And I would like to think that my colleagues at Neverfail, since I'm chief executive here, have never seen me like this, but I can assure you that on occasions I've certainly felt like that. So, leadership, how to handle it? Well, Jack Welch had a really interesting perspective. And he said, before you're a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others. Essentially, what you need to do is you need to move from a situation where your main focus is yourself to a situation where your focus is the team. The good news is that over the next few minutes, if you find yourself as a leader and you may think you're in trouble, there's a plan that you can adopt. And what I want to do is really share with you the plan that we at Neverfail have undertaken, really to take the business to a leadership position in our market. And I'm sure you're aware we have a significant operation in Cluj, and we are really delighted to be a key investor in the Cluj market. So, what is the plan? Really, it's a five-step process, and this is the five-step process that we have undertaken within Neverfail, and this is the process that I believe, if you follow as a leader, then you can retain that smile on your face, however challenging things become. And that five-step process is, first of all, to define a vision. And ultimately, that perhaps is the key role of the leader, which is to define the vision for the business that will get employees, customers, business partners, stakeholders excited. Then once you have a vision, you need to set the strategy. You need to set the strategy that's going to enable you to execute. And once the strategy is set, the key thing then is to build internal confidence within the organization so that employees believe in the vision, believe in the strategy, and they then believe in themselves and their own capabilities to go and deliver on the strategy. And once you have that internal confidence with employees built, what you can do is grow the external confidence. That is, grow the confidence in your organization, in your customers, in market analysts, and in your board and shareholders. And of course, what you have to do is you have to measure that. You have to measure your progress. and measure your progress, and then over time potentially refine the vision based on the progress that you've made. So what I'm going to talk about essentially are those 5 steps. And I'm going to use Neverfail as an example of how we've, in practical terms, taken those 5 steps and implemented. The first role, as I say, is to define the vision. And, you know, there is a story back in the 1960s of JFK, John F. Kennedy, the President of the United States, visiting NASA, the North American Space Agency. And, you know, he had set the challenge for America to put a man on the moon by the end of the decade. And he was visiting NASA. And he apparently asked the janitor, a cloakroom attendant, what do you do? Or what's your job? And the man said, I'm putting a man on the moon. So in terms of the vision has got to be so compelling, so exciting, that your employees don't just think about the fact that they're doing their own individual job to the best of their capabilities, but they see the bigger picture. They see the end goal as something that is much more than their own individual contribution. They see the end goal as being putting a man on the moon. So, how to do that? And this is the practical example. The way that we've approached defining our vision at Neverfail, and bearing in mind that our software fundamentally helps organizations protect their business by ensuring business continuity of critical applications. The way that we've defined our vision is that we've looked at our vision with 3 components. We've said, first of all, we need to understand how we behave when we're at our best. So when we're most successful, what does our business look like? What are our roots, if you like? And so we define those as delivering solutions that are on the leading edge of our market, where we remained agile and focused, and that we worked with a sense of family, a sense of team. And you know, we're a business, as I say, with operations in the UK, in France, in Romania, in the Middle East, in Asia Pac, and of course in the United States. So creating that sense of family across those multiple geographies is not an easy challenge. But ultimately we determined that as part of our vision, that was a key part of how we wanted to operate. We then said, how do we behave? What's at the core of our philosophy? And we said, it's very simple. We deliver our promises, whether that's our promises to each other, promises that I make to employees, promises that we make to our board in terms of performance, promises we make to customers in terms of product functionality or resolving their problems. And then we brought that together under the vision. And you know, you can spend a lot of time trying to craft a vision, mission statement, and trying to work out the difference between the two. Certainly I've never been particularly clear on what is the difference between a vision and a mission. But we defined our vision in simple terms. What do we want customers to say about us? We said we want customers to say that they trust Neverfail to protect their business. So that combination of vision, roots and passion, that's how we set the overall vision for the business. That's how we effectively, if you like, said if we can behave this way, we will build a business that is great, and in our own way, we'll be sending a man to the moon. So from vision comes strategy. And setting the strategy, but really 3 key components. And this applies to any business, not just a technology business that's Neverfail, and I'm sure many of the organizations that you represent operates in the technology market. 3 key components. The first is innovation. You have to bring innovation to any business. So you need to have a strategy. In our case, it's a strategy around product, it's a strategy around go-to-market, it's a strategy around positioning that is innovative, that gives us a leadership position. Secondly, you need to have a strategy that puts your customer first, creating customer intimacy. You know, I call it keeping the customer in the line of sight at all times. Now, the point about customers, you know, it said the customer is always right. I don't actually believe that. I don't think the customer is always right. But what is clear, we always have to remember, is the customer is always the customer. So seeing matters from the customer's point of view is absolutely key to creating that customer intimacy. And then, of course, you've got to have operational excellence. You've got to make sure that your sales, your marketing, your customer support, your back office functions all operate to the maximum efficiency. So those are the three components of the strategy. So once you have the vision and the strategy set, then how do you go about building that key belief across employees? How do you take our friends here who are cynical, probably browbeaten, probably have heard the same stories all before, probably don't trust the boss? How do you take them and then turn them into employees who frankly are ecstatically excited about coming to work and who are cheering about their company? The way you do that is in two ways. First of all, employees, in my view, have got very clear expectations. What they want ultimately is clarity. They want clarity of vision, they want clarity of strategy, they want clarity of direction, they want clarity of communication, they want clarity of expectation. They want to know what they need to do, and they want to understand the operating parameters and how they can contribute. And secondly, with that clarity, what they need, what they want is they want to feel engaged. They want to feel part of it. You know, that command and control, hierarchical approach, autocratic approach to business doesn't work anymore. Employees need to feel engaged. And if you can build that clarity and deliver that engagement, and fundamentally you do that through consistent communication of the vision, of the strategy, listening to employees, taking ideas into account, giving feedback, not being afraid to hear things that you don't want to hear, not being afraid to answer the difficult questions. If you can do that, then you'll create that internal confidence. And certainly, Neverfail, this is the way in which we've attempted as a leadership team to work with all our colleagues across the world, being really clear about our expectations, about direction, about vision, strategy, and looking to build ever-increasing employee engagement. And so the way that we've gone about effectively taking that concept of clarity and engagement is we've said there are 6 behaviors that we want to demonstrate as a company. And if we can demonstrate these behaviors, we will achieve a couple of things. First of all, our vision will become fulfilled. Secondly, we'll become a great place to work. And thirdly, we'll become a great company to do business with. And so if we have a very clear vision and we become a great company, a great place to work, then our employees are going to be excited. They're going to be supported. They're going to be engaged. That means they are typically going to deliver better work. They're going to deliver better service to the customer. And that means broadly the customer is going to be happy and is going to spend more money with Neverfail. So commercially, we'll be successful. And so those behaviors that we were really working hard to embed, the 6 behaviors, very briefly, first of all, we want to make sure that the image that we portray in terms of who we are, how we operate, etc., and the customer experience matches. Think of your favorite company, the company you love to do business with. That's almost certainly because you have clear expectations about what service you're going to get, the quality of the service, and the company delivers. The second behavior is we want to understand what our customers want, what our customers need. We want, as it were, to be constantly inside the heads of the customer. We want to be very close to our market, close to our customers, and delivering solutions that respond to their needs. We then want to be constantly innovating, and that may be innovating around product, maybe innovating around service, but it may be innovating about small things. It may be just improving the work environment. It may be introducing a new software solution that will help employees collaborate across the world. So being open to new ideas. We then want to be brave yet disciplined. That means we're prepared to take bold decisions, but we need to be disciplined to make sure that those decisions ultimately are focused on delivering our vision, delivering on our strategy, and are not distraction. We then come back to the customer. We want to make sure that every time a customer works with us, that experience that the customer has is memorable, and memorable in a positive way. I think we can all remember bad customer experiences that we talk about, but we want to make the customer experience we have memorable in a positive way. And then ultimately, we want to make sure that the people we work with, the people we hire, share our values. The company and personal values as well. And then, if we have that right behaviour, that's going to make Neverfail a great piece of work. It's going to create the right engagement with customers, and it's going to create that internal confidence across our employees. And it's going to help us rebuild external confidence. And this is the fourth dimension of leadership. How do you rebuild external confidence? And in simple terms, you create trust in your brand. And you do that through creating the memorable customer experience, thinking about the customer's interactions at every point in your business, and understanding what's important to the customer. And you do that by your behaviour, by meeting your commitments, keeping your promises. You do that by having thought leadership, so that customers trust your opinion in the market that you operate. And ultimately, you do that by the quality of the personal relationships you have with your customers. So, vision, strategy, rebuild internal confidence, build internal confidence, rebuild external confidence in customers. This is what the leader has to deliver. And how can you tell how well you're doing? Well, at Neverfail, what we've adopted is a balanced scorecard approach, where we've taken 5 dimensions, and together with my executive team, this is how we track the progress of the business. And this is the information that we share with our employees. Obviously, there's a sales metric. You know, how are we doing against our quota? How is our pipeline developing? How well are our channels doing? We have a marketing metric, which is about both our demand generation and our brand reputation. How are we perceived in the marketplace? We look at our product in terms of quality and release timeliness. We look at our company culture. We look at the way in which we work. We measure employee engagement. We measure customer satisfaction. We're looking at ways in which we can measure innovation as well. That's not easy to do, but we're looking at a number of ways in which we can capture how many new ideas we implement and how we rank as an innovative company. And then finally, of course, you have to have financial measures. You know, revenue growth, cash flow, profitability. But we believe that those financial measures come from getting the vision right, the strategy right, rebuilding internal confidence, rebuilding external confidence. And they come from fundamentally how we behave across those four dimensions. So we measure financial performance based on the results of the other 4 dimensions, rather than believing that financial performance happens just on its own or is the only thing to look at. So, if you like, that's the flow. That is, if you like, the roadmap for leadership that we've adopted. It's a roadmap for leadership that's worked effectively for me, and I believe is working for our company. I'll leave you with a final thought from a man who is topical at the moment in the cinemas, Abraham Lincoln, and that is, whatever you are, be a good one. So, I'll read you. Those are my thoughts on leadership. It was a pleasure to be with you. As I say, I'm very sorry I couldn't be there in person. If we have time, I'd be very glad to take any questions or if there are any comments from the audience. And I'm very sorry that I don't speak Romanian. And so we've had to conduct this in English.
Well, I guess everyone can manage with the English, so I don't think we have issues here. Thank you, Martin, for your presentation. Let's see if you have any questions here. Well, the guys are more shy today, so maybe in the panels after the conferences. So, thanks, Martin. We don't have yet any questions, but you know, if people will have, I'm sure they will send emails or just put a comment into the articles.
Exactly.
And
if you have any questions or would like to connect with me, then you have my contact details. I'd be very glad to do so. And thank you very much for the invitation.
thank you, Martin. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.